All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our special meeting. Tonight is Monday, December 8th, 2025. We are live in person here at City Hall and broadcasting by Zoom. We are going to, let me move to panelist here. So tonight we have a couple of ordinances we're going to move up on the agenda, and then our main actions tonight are interviews and appointment of a council member to fill vacant position 7. So we'll start with the invocation. I'm going to ask Councilmember Dunn, if I can put him on the spot for the invocation, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us.
Father in heaven, we are grateful to come together as a community. We are grateful for those who have come before us to participate and engage and to give their time in the interests of this place that we call home. We look forward to hearing and listening and understanding. Amen.
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 I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we've called the meeting to order, and we'll start with our roll call. Councilmember Kurtz. Present. Councilmember Ball. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Cargill.
Present.
Councilmember Spencer.
Present.
Councilmember Dunn.
Happy to be here.
And Councilmember Kennedy.
Present.
All right. So we will go ahead and move to agenda approval. We had previously discussed moving the ordinances, which are numbers 15A and B, to earlier in the agenda. So do we have a motion from someone to move that after reports and inquiries?
Mayor, I'll make a motion to move 15A and B to what would be now 8.5 A and B.
Sure, that works. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, motion passes 6-0. Any other adjustments to the agenda? I don't hear any, so go ahead.
Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Second tie between Councilmembers Ball and Kurtz there. Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, not hearing any. Agenda is approved as amended. So we are on to citizen comments. For those in the chambers here, we have white half sheets on the table over by the door. If you'd like to make a citizen comment now or near at the end of the meeting, please fill that out and get it to Rochelle, our city clerk, at the end of the table, and we will call you up. If you're online and would like to make a citizen comment, please send a note to our meeting host in the chat section. And if we have any takers, I will go through the rules. If not, we will move on. Anybody? Rochelle, did we have any written comments come in over the week? Okay. All right. Doesn't look like we have any. We will have opportunities for each of the ordinances and again at the end of the meeting. So that brings us up to announcements, proclamations, and special presentations. Nothing. All right. Reports and inquiries. Are there any city council reports since last week? Councilmember Ball.
I just wanted to bring up that I went to the Visit Spokane open house Thursday at their offices. It was really nice and very well attended. I was really delighted to see 2 of our businesses represented there. Trailbreaker Cider had a big presence, as did Liberty Lake Wine Cellars. They were both, doling out their goods. But what really it was interesting was I had a nice, quite long visit with one of the owners of Trailbreaker. And in addition to, praising Visit Spokane, he spoke very highly of GSI, which, is on our agenda, and really praised them and all that they've done to help his business. So knowing that, I'm flipping from last week, I am going to support remaining with GSI.
Thank you. Anybody else on council comments council reports? Nothing. All right. I don't have anything new to report since last week. So we'll move to city administrator. Did you have anything on your list for tonight?
Thanks, Mayor. Just a real quick update for those who may not have heard. We were notified this afternoon by the Spokane County Office of Emergency Management that the National Weather Association has issued a severe weather alert for us in this area. It started at 4 p.m., but the real fun looks to start at about 10 p.m. where we're expected to have winds anywhere from 50 to 55 miles an hour. So just keep that in mind as you're departing the meeting, assuming we're in that neighborhood of time, and as you travel home. And that
Thank you.
concludes my report.
All right, I hadn't heard the wind speed, so thank you for that. Luckily, the roads are not icy at this point. All right, so we will move up to our ordinances. The first one on our list tonight is the capital facilities plan. We have a second read. I will let Rochelle go ahead with that.
Thank you, Mayor. Second read, ordinance 314, an ordinance of the City of Liberty Lake, Washington, adopting the 2026 through 2031 capital facilities plan.
All right, do we have a motion?
I move the capital facilities plan as drafted.
Thank you.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. We have discussion. Mayor Pro Tem.
I'm going to speak opposed to the capital facilities plan specifically because while I appreciate that we were able to come to a compromise last week to at least update the PF, I believe it was PF 15 or PF 20, can't remember which one. It still calls for $10 million for a project that we have not approved and that we just saw the citizens oppose. So I will be speaking in opposition.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Nobody else? Okay, Councilmember Ball.
So, with this issue of, the people have spoken on that particular issue that Mayor Pro Tem Cargill just brought up. I would like to state some facts here. The election that this advisory vote came up on, there was a 43.44% voter turnout in Liberty Lake. That is not all the people by any means. 9,924 ballots were mailed, 4,311 were returned. So the people have not spoken. A very small vocal online community are the electorate who oppose a library. This small group has expressed their views on the Liberty Lake community page, yet few, if any, attend these meetings to express themselves in person. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments on Councilmember Kennedy?
I had no intentions of commenting, but after that, I certainly do have a comment. The citizens have spoken because what was brought to the city, this council, was a minority of a minority group that had said that the library had to be rebuilt. And there was a budget for that, and the building was purchased with that in mind. And also was brought to the council that they had the support of the citizens. And the only way we can find out the support of the citizens is to put it to a vote. So we have no control about who doesn't show up to vote. What we do have control over is that we give the option to the people who we work for, and that's the citizens. So we gave it to them, gave them information. They came back at that. Now, if it happened to be 40-some-odd% that applied to it, what's interesting is in major votes, that's kind of where it comes from. It's almost the same percentage. So to say that they have not spoken is just beyond my imagination.
Okay, I'm going to stop the meeting for just a moment. I'm going to remind everybody, before we get into all of this again tonight, please keep your comments on the subject. Please do not make it personal. This is not a discussion between council members. Make your point and please don't. I don't want to see this again tonight. I'll just leave it at that. Mayor Pro Tem.
Does everyone else want to go first?
I don't know. Nobody else has raised their hand yet. Go ahead.
Okay. I just want to make clear the reason why I am opposing this is because about a year ago, when we were discussing the Legacy Church building, we were told at that time that a survey of 800 citizens indicated that community wanted this. Then we were told that because one of the concepts at some of the open houses got 25 dots, that's what the community wanted. 25 plus 800 is 825, assuming they're not the same people. That is a lot less than 4,311 who voted in the election. So that is why I'm opposing this particular measure.
Anybody else? No further comments? Okay, we will go to, since this is a second read, we open this up for citizen comments. So if there are any citizen comments on this ordinance, which is the 2026 to 2031 capital facilities plan, we will take comments on just that. So if there's anybody online who'd like to comment on this ordinance, please send a note to our meeting host in the chat feature. If there's anyone in person who'd like to make a comment on this ordinance, Again, we have our half sheets. We'll open it up. I don't see anybody rushing to the podium here. Is there anybody online? Does not look like it. Okay, so no citizen comments. So with that, and it doesn't look like there's any further discussion, we'll go to a vote. It's ordinance, we'll all go. Actually, I have my reminder list here about who's in which position. So I'm going to go by position number this time. Councilmember Ball, yay or nay on for the ordinance?
Yay.
Okay, Mayor, second, Mayor Pro Tem.
No.
Okay, Councilmember Dunn is position 3.
Aye.
Councilmember Spencer, position 4.
Nay.
Councilmember Kurtz, 5.
Yay.
And Councilmember Kennedy.
No.
Okay, Sean, so now I turn to you because this is a tie. It's an ordinance. I do not break ties on ordinances. We do have to, by law, I believe, have to have a past capital facilities plan, and Lisa's on as well listening. What are the next steps?
Well, the ordinance fails as is.
Yes,
As
yes.
it's presented, so there's options for a different ordinance, because a new ordinance would be necessary. What are the next ordinance numbers? So presumably, let's say 315. Would be the next step, and or a reconsideration of ordinance 314.
Okay. And with Lisa on, Lisa, I see you're unmuted. What is our deadline for passing a capital facilities plan?
So because it's tied to the budget also, it really needs to go forward with the budget ordinance. So my suggestion, for what it's worth, is if we don't have the votes tonight, that we bring it back on the 16th.
Okay, so if Sean, back to you. So since this has failed, can we even go forward with a second read on the budget tonight? I would
Lisa, correct me if
assume
I'm wrong, I don't believe these are tied to each other in the sense that you can't pass one over the other and come back later. I think you're just saying that from the capital facilities plan, there are things in the budget that relate to the plan. Is that correct?
That is correct.
So
You
we,
could pass the budget. tonight
Okay.
and Come back and address the capital
Okay.
facilities plan later.
okay, thank you. All right, so then we will move to the second read, ordinance for ordinance 313, which is the adoption of the budget. I know we do have the open item with regards to GSI, so if we can go ahead, we'll read it in, we'll motion second for discussion, and then we'll answer the questions on GSI.
Thank you, Mayor. Second read, ordinance 313, an ordinance of the City of Liberty Lake, Washington, adopting a budget for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026, appropriating funds and establishing salary schedules for established positions.
We have a motion.
I move the budget as read.
Do we have a second? Second. Okay, we have motion and a second by Councilmember Kurtz. So we will move forward to some discussion here. I'm going to turn this over to Mark and Kyle. There was the outstanding question about GSI. I know Kyle was working on some things. Mark and I talked on Friday as well. So we just want to make sure everybody has some updated information on the benefits of GSI to the city.
So yeah, Mark will jump in here in a sec. So what we can contemplate for consideration of adopting the budget, specifically as it relates to 2026 expenses, is that we can adopt it with obviously the GSI membership of $12,000, or we can adopt it subject to its removal. And so we have two different paths with that specific item. And I have signature copies with Rochelle that the mayor will sign that reflect each. And so if there's a pathway to approval for the 26 budget tonight, whichever route we take, it's either with GSI or without, we have the paperwork to execute that.
So Sean, would it be appropriate after we have the discussion, if there is a motion to amend the motion to remove GSI, because it's already in there, so there wouldn't be a motion to leave it in because it's already there.
Correct.
But if there is a motion to remove it, we can do the amendment and then that would tell us which version.
Correct.
Would that be the right procedure?
Yeah, you're just addressing the GSI.
Well, unless there's other questions, that was all we're expecting. There may be other questions.
Yeah, I mean, you can amend the budget, the proposed budget, to remove or add things, and then depending on how that how we vote, then if it's amended, go back as an amended original ordinance as amended.
Okay. All right. So, we'll go ahead and, since we had the outstanding question on GSI, I'll go ahead and turn that back over to Kyle and Mark. I don't know which one of you wanted to take that?
Well, and I think, so the short answer was did the city receive any direct grant funding as a result of our partnership in GSI? And the answer to that is no. I think there's obviously some ancillary benefit to that, and I'll let Mark expand on that.
Exactly.
Yeah, and obviously from a membership perspective, the most valuable piece of membership from my perspective is having access to the ADO benefits, which part of that is funds flowing through the ADO from the feds and the state. Ancillary benefits that we've talked about and Kyle just mentioned, they also perform business expansion and retention functions. They do job training. They're doing site locating. They're alerting us to potential movements of either businesses from other locations or expansion opportunities from franchisees, chains, standalones, all of that. In addition to just some of the more call them pedestrian kinds of benefits of getting discounts on different training opportunities and access to legislative briefings and trips to the Capitol to do advocacy work and those kinds of things. And so you put all of that together, and we believe the benefit far outweighs the $12,000 membership cost. But obviously, that's a decision that council needs to make with respect to the budget.
Comments or questions? Councilmember Dunn.
I speak in support of including GSI in the current budget. I think we've cut or reduced the total expense to GSI from an original amount of, was it 25? Now down to 12. Reflecting concerns regarding the total amount spent. I think the city administrator did a great job of describing the indirect benefits provided by membership to the organization. And whereas there is no like dollar amount granted to the city, it more, I think, is reflected in the performance of the businesses in our community. I think as Bill Baker-Sider could mention, the membership benefit of having GSI and our city being committed to it pays dividends, not directly to the city, but to the businesses within our community. So I support the city's investment in the businesses in our community.
Thank you. Okay, any other comments? I think we have Councilmember Spencer first and then Kennedy.
Yeah, question for Mark. Aside from the ADO, what sort of crossover do we have between the Valley Chamber and GSI as far as those services that you just mentioned?
There's a fair amount of crossover when it comes to business retention and expansion. GSI's scope is much broader. They have investments that allow for them from a marketing perspective to reach much farther and deeper than the Valley Chamber, but there's a fair amount of overlap.
Yeah, and the Valley Chamber has a member on the board at GSI now that they didn't used to. And so when it comes to lobbying at the state level and at the federal level, the goal is to, we all know how business unfriendly Washington continues to become. And it's really important to have that extra emphasis in the lobbying efforts of GSI to help push some of those reforms through to help our businesses.
And to follow up on the mayor's point, that connection is specifically because GSI is the ADO. There has to be some connection to the ADO or we lose the opportunity even to be considered for those pass-through funding opportunities.
Councilmember Kennedy.
I'm going to speak in favor of it and I will vote for it. In the past, we did have a budget at one time, some years ago, 25,000, and it was lowered to 12,000. Granted, we can possibly qualify for some grants through them. We have not received that. That's an unfortunate way, but that is not enough for me to not see that there is an intrinsic value that for our $12,000, I do see a benefit there, so I will be supporting it.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem?
I'm going to speak in opposition simply because we are charged the same amount as the other cities. So our citizens, if you compare us to the city of Spokane Valley, our citizens pay 10 times as much for a membership in GSI. And the reason is because, of course, the city of Spokane Valley is 10 times larger than us, almost. So I don't see the fairness in charging our citizens more for the same exact service that a city 10 times our size gets. Thank you.
All right, any other comments? All right. All right, if there's no further discussion, I mean, it's in the budget, so.
Okay, so going forward, yeah, I think we'd entertain a motion to adopt the budget as is then.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we already, well, motion for discussion, so it's already been motion.
Yeah.
So now we go to citizen comments. So do we have any comments from citizens? Oh,
Just talking budget now?
yeah.
Not the GSI.
Well, we're still on the entire budget, so I guess I'll hold off on the citizen comments. If there's any other comments on the budget as a whole. Mayor Pro Tem.
Okay, thank you. So a couple of things I want to point out. First of all, I appreciate the fact that we came back last week and we were able to find some savings in the budget by essentially just pushing things off to another year. That having been said, I think it's important for all the citizens who are here tonight and those who are watching to know a couple of key data points about this particular budget. At about 19.3 million, which is what is on the table here tonight, it's about a 12% increase over last year's budget, which was about a 34% increase over the previous year's budget. Even when you take out the some $4 million worth of costs for one-time items, as we heard last week, the budget still spends $2 million more than we are bringing in as a city. $2 million more than we bring in tax revenue. Now, if I went to my family or my wife or my kids and I said, I'm going to spend $2 million more than we're bringing in next year, they would laugh at me. And yet here we are having a discussion about adopting a budget that spends $2 million more in revenue than we're going to have coming in. I also think it's important to point out that I like to look at these budget numbers in more of a granular form. And so when you take the 19.3 million and divide it by the number of citizens we have, each citizen's budget allocation, if you will be $1,604. That's every citizen, whether you're a child, retired, or middle-aged and working mom or dad. If you just look at the numbers of those who participated in the last election, you're looking at $4,620 per voter in the last election. This budget will spend $52,876 per day next year. $52,876 per day. $2,203 per hour next year. And in the minute that I just took to talk about this budget will spend another $37. So I don't think in the current economic situation that we are in, and with what other cities and counties are doing around our region, specifically Spokane County, which adopted a budget that increases less than 2%, that this is the wisest path forward. And so it is for those reasons why I will be speaking opposed. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Not hearing any other discussion. Now I will open it up to citizen comments. So again, if there's anybody in chambers or online who'd like to make a comment on ordinance number, where are we? 313, the adopting the city's budget for 2026, please rush to the podium and fill out your half sheet. Nope. And if there's anybody online, please send a note to our meeting host and chat. Not hearing any. So we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the,
Excuse me, Mayor.
yes, sir.
I apologize. I didn't get my hand up quick enough.
Oh, that's okay.
I
Go
did have a
ahead.
question.
Let me just make sure, I'll come back to you, I promise, and
Sure.
make sure there aren't any citizen comments before I move on. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. There was a couple of minor items that I brought up that were going to be changed, and I have not seen any of the changes. Specifically, the committees are advisory to the council. I've not seen any of those changes.
Do we have that sheet updated, Kyle?
Yes, yep, and that was it was included in the packet. It was page 64 of our packet.
Okay.
We had updated the language to identify that they are advisory to council.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Is that the only one?
That's the only one that was important.
Okay, all right. Just want to make sure I wasn't jumping ahead too fast. Okay, if there's no other comments from the council, we will go ahead to a vote to adopt the the budget as updated. And again, I'll just go by position number. Councilmember Ball,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem,
No.
Councilmember Dunn,
Aye.
Councilmember Spencer,
Nay.
Councilmember Kurtz,
Yes.
and Councilmember Kennedy.
Yes.
All right, we have a budget. Motion passes 4-2. Thanks, everybody, for your work, and we will continue discussions on the capital facility. All right, that being said, we are back to our regularly scheduled meeting, and so we're up to interviews for the vacant number 7 city council position. So there's lots of discussion at the last meeting about this process. We are down from 9 candidates to 8. And so we discussed at the last meeting so how we're going to narrow that down. So let me kind of walk through what we see the process is as it stands. So we've got each of the candidates' names here. We will have our young visitor from the audience, if you'd like to help us pick the names when the time comes, not yet. Get some audience participation. So we're drawing names randomly on the order in which you guys will be interviewed. We will, the first person interviewed will come to the podium. Everybody else will either go into the conference room behind you or this one out here. We trust you not to be getting questions fed to you by your phone while you're waiting. Well, either that or we'll turn our secret cameras on and watch everybody from behind. No. So anyway, the process will be, we'll get you, we have questions from the council. Rochelle will put the council's names in a randomizer. And so we will determine on the first round, the order in which the councils will ask the questions, and then it will stay in that order. And the same questions will be asked of each candidate. You will have, we decided 12 minutes. That would be 10 minutes. Yes, 10 minutes to answer 6 questions. So make sure you spend your time wisely, and you'll have 2 minutes at the end for a summary for us. After that, after everybody goes, council will switch spots. You guys will all come back here. The council will go into the other room, have an executive session. And when we come out, what we talked about at the last meeting was each council member will go around the dais again we'll just go in position number. I'm going to ask for the top 3 candidates from each council member. I'm going to ask for those to be presented in alphabetical order by first name. Just make sure just because it just keeps things cleaner, easier to count, whatever. Here's where I have a question for the council. Now that we're down from 9 candidates to 8, we originally talked about narrowing the field down first to 5. Since we're down a candidate, would you like to change that to 4 or keep it to 5?
5.
Everybody okay with sticking with 5? Okay, all right. So then what I did go back and watch the 2-night meeting sequence from February of 2021, and that's when we had 13 candidates to start. We ended up with 12, one person dropped. And so how it went then is we did the top 3 and we narrowed it down. Well, everybody interviewed for 5 minutes the first night. And then the council narrowed it down to 7. After that, we did a similar process. Everybody gave their top 3, we narrowed it down. And then so again, tonight we'll narrow it down to 5. So then I guess then the following question would be for the council. Do you want to go with the next 3 or the next 2 until we get it down to two or 3 people to take nominations? That's the only open question I have.
3.
And do another round down to 3 after we get the first 5. Is that okay with everybody?
5 to 3.
Yeah.
I think it's reasonable.
Go ahead.
At what point do we go into executive session?
Oh, that after they're done interviewing, I had said that. Yeah. Go ahead, Member Tim.
Point of order.
Yes.
Executive session is not called for on the agenda.
Yes, and we're okay with that. We clarified that this morning.
You can?
Yes, we can. Yeah, that's actually the council's prerogative to add one at any time. And so I have the RCW 4230-110. We already cleared all that with Sean. So when we get to that point, we will adjourn to executive session and then come back. So after the interviews.
I'm probably in the minority here, but I want to speak in opposition to the executive session simply because I believe anything that we should say in executive session about any of the candidates, we should be willing to say in public. And I've done this before. It's never gone anywhere. I realize that. So I want to say it again, that I think that unfortunately what ends up happening is we get back into that room and we kind of all go into our corners and figure out who we all like. And there's a lot of discussion about the qualifications of this person or that person, things that I believe should be said in open meeting. So thank you.
Councilmember Spencer.
No, I'll speak to the same thing. Having gone through the process twice, I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall in both situations. In one case, I was not appointed, in one case I was. I just think it would be nice for everybody to see the process play out, and I don't know that there's anything any of us needs to say about any of the potential candidates in private that we can't say here in public.
Having been through that process twice myself, but on the appointee side, I didn't have a problem with it. And of course, I've lost track of how many times I've been on this side of the coin. So, Councilmember Kennedy.
I see no reason, if it's the discretion of the council, that we could actually still have that after we come out of executive session, if council members want to have that discussion. And I think that would be up to the discretion of the council.
Well, I'm not hearing a motion, so
Pardon?
I'm not hearing a motion to not
I
have
would
it.
make a motion that we, after the executive session, we open it up for council discussion.
How about we wait until we get to that point and then we'll decide where to go from there. at that
Okay.
point.
You want to,
'Cause
Sean's advising to wait to have,
if you don't
Well,
want
that's
to have
fine.
the executive session or anything, then we can just not have it, but how about we get through the interviews and then we
That's
can
fine.
decide.
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
all right, yes, go ahead.
The only other thing was this, is that this hasn't come up, but I know in the past this has been a sort of an unwritten policy that when the candidates go in the room, that they do not utilize their cell phone.
That's, yeah,
So I would like to point that out, that while you're in the room, do not utilize your cell phone, please.
Yep.
And I think that works pretty well because you have 6 other individuals keeping an eye on you.
all right, if there's no further discussion, you want to come up and help us decide the order? Pick what? Just pick them one at a time and just give us a second to see who's. Yeah, but if you can read the handwriting, tell us what the name's on it. Hugh is first, Hugh Severs. That would be Lynn Atkins, number 2. Robin is number 3. You don't have to memorize this, we'll come get you. Jacob is number 4. Michael is number 5. Judy's number 6. James number 7. That leaves Abigail, number 8. All right, again, we'll keep track of this and we'll keep you guys moving. Thank you very much for your help. All right, so we'll go ahead and if
Madam Mayor?
yes, ma'am.
Didn't Michael withdraw his?
Yes, Michael Hamlet withdrew.
Oh,
We have a
there-
mic, we
wait,
have
oh,
another mic here.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we had 2. All right, so we will have Mr. Severs stick around and we'll move everybody else to the chambers behind you. So Rochelle will open the door since there's a code on it.
While they're finding out, could you tell me again who was number 4 after?
Yes, I'll just go through them one more time.
Jacob. Jacob was number 4.
Yeah,
Okay, one moment, please.
yeah. So just real quick, so we have Hugh first,
Yeah, I got the first 3.
Lynn Atkins, Catherine Lynn Atkins is 2.
Lynn,
I
there's
think they're gonna
Judith.
use that table.
After Judith,
Are we?
Well, I don't know. I'm just wondering.
I don't
if
know.
that's-
James and
Instead of
Abigail.
table.
James,
And Abigail.
Okay, I was going through all of them. Hugh, Lynn,
then
Robin, Jacob, Mike Willis, Judy, Jim Slomker, and Abigail.
Okay.
All right. Okay, we've got a table over there. Were we gonna use that or are we staying at the podium? I don't know. Hold on, we'll wait till Mark and Rochelle get back.
Get the bosses back.
You look
Make
pretty
it-
comfortable there. Well, they were kind of working the logistics side of it, so. Well, while we're waiting, Rochelle's got the randomizer for who's going first with the questions, so. It's just a couple minutes here.
Probably nice job on time tonight, guys.
6:25 when you wrapped up the budget.
Lots of special meetings before that, though.
So hopefully everybody came with their main question and their backups. Just remember, we need to ask the same once as we go around, you'll ask the same question of everybody and don't change how you word it. Mark, are we using the small table over here? Are we having everybody at the podium?
We were.
Okay, that's great. I just want to make sure. And so Rochelle will walk us through the order in which the council members will be asking the questions, and we can get started.
Okay, so about 5 minutes before the meeting, I did a random number generator. So the random numbers were 416253. So according to the council positions, that means Councilmember Spencer goes first, Councilmember Ball goes second.
Slow down, I gotta write these down. Okay, next.
Yep. Let's see, Councilmember Kennedy goes third, Mayor Pro Tem Cargill goes fourth, Councilmember Kurtz goes fifth, Councilmember Dunn goes sixth.
Okay. All right, you guys got that? And I'll keep you straight too. All right, so I guess we will get started with Councilmember Spencer. So we're going to watch the timer. If you want to set it for the 10 minutes, as soon as he's done asking the question. All right.
Okay, we ready?
We are ready.
Okay, my question is, what is the proper role of city government and how will that guide your decisions in distinguishing budgetary needs from wants here in Liberty Lake?
Excellent question. Thank you. Proper role of city government is to serve the people. That's plain and simple right there. How that helps with budgetary decisions is, my view is to keep government strictly on the service side. So we want budgets to be as small as possible, but to make sure we are maintaining the proper service needs for the community. Thank you.
Okay. Next up, Councilmember Ball.
Hello. So city governments play a key role in preparedness for wildfires, windstorms, they happen tonight, snow events, other emergencies. What do you believe the city's priorities should be in strengthening community resilience, and how would you evaluate progress?
That is a big question. Thank you. Public safety is, I think, number one when it comes to city government. Again, plain and clear. Wildfires, windstorms, we've seen issues around the country. My opinion is that wildfires are a big problem, but the city of Liberty Lake, I think, is at an okay spot with that, teaming with the Valley Fire Department. I think they are very proactive and have done a great job there. Things like windstorms, I honestly am not educated enough on it to say where we're at there. So I'd have to do more research on that.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Kennedy.
Very good. Thank you for applying. I do appreciate you coming forward. It's always difficult to get people to run, and it's difficult to get people to come forward. So I do appreciate that. City council service requires the ability to navigate disagreement to competing community interests and strong public pressure. Can you share an example of time you helped bridge differences or build consensus? Explain how you maintain professionalism, impartiality, and constructive relationship to this process.
Outside of everyday life. Yeah. Thank you for the question. I think one of the strong suits I bring to any team is to bring more cohesion by being a listener and especially going into times of debate. I'll speak to my time on council. I served 2 terms on council, and plenty of times we were all coming in at something at odds. And when I go into debate, I look at it truly as debate, and I'm trying to listen for good viewpoints of other people. So I'm not coming in with Hugh's opinion saying, I'm right, I'm going to get my way. I come in saying, what is your opinion? Here's my opinion. I should be well researched. I should come with an opinion to that meeting. but I should not come in saying that my opinion is going to be the only one. So I'm there to listen to fellow council members and hope to come to the best decision based on the knowledge that we're all bringing together as one. So I think that's a strength of mine. I think I showed that when I was on council for those 2 terms. And I think that is something I could bring to the council.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Hugh, thanks for being here. My question is, can you tell me a recent decision of the council that you disagree with and why?
I'm supposed to get votes after this, Chris. I'm really, this isn't going to be a popular thing to say, but I'm really struggling with the decision to keep a $10 million project on the budget. Again, I'm losing votes as I'm saying that right now from the council, but I feel that the citizens spoke and they weren't a big fan of moving forward with the library community service project. I appreciate the deliberation to change the wording. I appreciate what's happened on council with that, but if I'm being honest, that was a decision of council. You guys have gone through a lot. I don't know the full background there. You're not sitting here on the dais with you guys over the last year thinking through that, but to me, that was a decision that was frustrating to hear as a citizen out there who did vote for that. So,
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Councilmember Kurtz.
Right. Hugh, what tools or methods do you believe are most effective for gathering resident input on complex issues? And which are the least effective and why for both?
yeah, that's a good question. Thank you for the question. So I think we've seen good use of surveys. I view it as a process over time. So something starts with an idea, and then that idea needs to be brought out to the citizens and educate them in some way. I think there's been really good strides on that through social media and getting the views out. But then it's kind of like that's step 1. Step 2 would be some sort of survey or some sort of engagement type process. Step 3, depending on how big the situation is, going to a vote, and bringing that information back to the council. I really view the role of council members. I mean, on top of being, of course, the legislative body, I view the role of council members as to be a voice of the people. So I view 6 of you, the 7 council members should be every day out in the community and should be bringing ideas back from the community to voice them here. When they're big decisions, there might be additional processes needed, but especially I'm thinking some of you spend a lot of time at the farmers market. That was never me, by the way. Okay. I find I get information other ways and I serve on other boards and I'm bringing back that information. So I think it's one of the most best roles of the council is to go out to the community and bring that voice back and truly kind of be a voice of the people bringing it back here. If we need to go back out for surveys and other strategies to come up with to sort of deliberate how to move forward on a process and what is the voice of the people, so to speak. Sometimes it needs to go all the way to a vote, but I really think it's the role of the council once that information's here is that you have the ability to make that decision. The people empowered you to do that. So that answer your question.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, and next up, Councilmember Dunn.
What motivates you to serve on the city council at this time? And what skills, experiences, or perspectives would you bring that would help to serve the Liberty Lake community effectively?
Thanks, Dan. This time, yeah. I think we're all sitting around this room for one common reason, is that we care. We care about the community. Of course, I've served 2 terms. I was elected twice to be on council, and I cared then. I didn't run a 3rd term because just a place in life. Today, my kids are older. One's in college, one's driving. He doesn't spend as much time with us anymore for some reason. So just a different place in life that I feel like I can take my passion for the community and being part of the decisions, and I can bring that back to council. Obviously, so I've got the council experience. My background is very deep in finance. That's a big role of city council, is finance and budget. I've also got my degrees in landscape architecture with some urban planning in there. I mean, these are things I bring to the table, but ultimately my driver is to come back and help bring cohesion to the council. I don't like to throw out negative things, but I think we've all felt tension in the chambers over the last months, year. I don't know. It feels a little bit divided. It's easy to say that lately when it's 3 and 3 versus when there's an odd number. But I think my background and experience on council, and then bringing that here with sort of a real drive to bring everybody together. Me personally, I think that's going to help me be part of the decisions that are better for the community long term.
Okay, thank you. All right, so if we can reset the clock for 2 minutes, you have 2 minutes to summarize. Or add anything you would like the council to know and the public to know that you weren't able to address.
I don't feel like there's much I didn't address there. So the last question, I appreciate that kind of got out I think the crux of what I want to put out there. So I appreciate what you all do, and it's a tough decision. I love that there's 8 total people here. It's nice when there's a good turnout for this. So tough decisions, and good luck to all of you.
All right, that it?
Thanks.
All right, thanks so much. All right, next up, we can bring in Lynn Atkins. Oh, that's true.
Questions.
Oh, but I don't think they'll share the questions with their competition.
Oh, they're having a good time back there.
They usually do. Sometimes we can usually hear them back there. All right. Yeah, welcome. So we are going to start off with the 6 questions, and then you'll have 2 minutes. And remember, you have 10 minutes to get through the 6 questions. Then you'll have 2 minutes to summarize or add whatever you'd like. So we're going to start the timer as soon as Councilmember Spencer is finished with his first question.
First question, Lynn.
All right.
Thanks for being here tonight. What is the proper role of city government, and how will that guide your decisions in distinguishing budgetary needs from wants here in Liberty Lake?
Okay. Proper role of city government would be, I'm a little nervous. Give me a second. Okay. So I would say proper role of city government would be ordinances, enforcement of laws. I think managing infrastructure, also fiscal responsibility and control of the budget. And how does that influence my decision-making? I think that for my decision-making process, I rely a lot on data. If you hear me say it once, you probably hear me say it 100 times. I am a data-driven individual. I want science, I want numbers behind things. That being said, as far as deciding priorities, I'm a big believer in priority-based budgeting. I believe that you take care of the absolute hard essentials first, and from there you move on to some of the softer things. And for softer things, I would include those to be library, parks, art, entertainment, and activities. So I think I answered your question.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Councilmember Ball.
Good evening. As you know, city governments play a key role in preparedness for wildfires, windstorms, snow events, emergencies. What do you believe the city's priorities should be in strengthening community resilience, and how would you evaluate progress?
Wow. There's a lot to unpack in that. But I would say that probably the biggest thing that the city could do in preparation for those things is communication. And I feel that that communication also kind of ties into engagement with our citizens. So many of our people are not engaged. They don't go to the city page. They're getting their information off of social media, or they're not getting city information anywhere at all. So I think communication would be the biggest part on that. And I think the only way that you can tell how you are progressing with it is to get the feedback from citizens, and you have to monitor that physically.
Thank you. Next question we have from Councilmember Kennedy.
Thank you. It's nice to see you here. Appreciate you coming forward. I have a question in regards to laws, because I believe we were regulated by that. I would assume that you're familiar with RCW 35A12.
You need to ask the same question you asked the first time around.
Very good. City Council service requires ability to navigate disagreement, competitive community interest, and strong public pressure. Can you share an example of time you helped bridge differences or build consensus, and explain how you maintain professionalism, impartiality, and constructive relationship through this process?
That's really interesting. I've had to do that a number of times in my career. I worked in a corporate office. I was on multiple committees. And let me just tell you that there was some very robust dialogue, is the best way to put it. But at the end of the day, everybody was there to accomplish a common goal. And honestly, everyone would bring something different to the table. And I think that you get better ideas and better results by looking at all of those and then combining them. This is not a one vote, one person's idea is going to be the be all and end all. So I think there's some negotiating that goes on and some great dialogue as far as how do we mold these different ideas into the best possible solution.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Lynn, can you tell me a recent decision of the council that you disagree with and why?
A recent decision of the council that I disagree with? No. Next question. Honestly, there are always going to be probably pieces of things in the council that I disagree with. I am an advocate about the library. There's no hiding that. And so probably the piece that I would say that I disagree with in the council has been the decision that was made here tonight to not move forward with the capital facilities plan. And it's not just because I am a library advocate. It's because I believe that our capital facilities plan has to have strategic plans that reach far enough out into our future. And having the library in there in 2028 is probably the right ballpark to start on that, based on the service levels that it provides, because we're right on the cusp now in the library. And I only know this intimately because I do work at the library as a substitute, that the service level from this point forward is going to decline because of the limitations on space and resources.
Thank you. All right, Councilmember Kurtz.
All right. Lynn, what tools or methods do you believe are most effective for gathering resident input on complex issues, and which are least effective and why?
Wow. I would have to honestly answer that I think as far as gathering resident input, that there is opportunity out there for a lot of improvement. I think being at the farmer's market is a great way to interact with the community and get feedback. It probably has the best number of footsteps and opportunity for individual interaction with them. I'm not entirely certain that the number of surveys that are coming out are being as effective, but you have the data. I do not. as far as what the response rate on the surveys are. I question it, but again, I'm data driven, so I would have to see what the results are that are coming in from that. I do think, as far as getting feedback from the community and engagement, that people are so busy these days that we are the ones that are going to have to make the effort to meet them where they live and make it a time that works for them. And then the other part is we need to give them the why. Why should I participate?
Thank you. Next up, we have Councilmember Dunn.
What motivates you to serve on the city council at this time, and what skills, experiences, or perspectives would you bring that would help you serve the Liberty Lake community effectively?
I'm sure you all read the applications, and I'm hoping that you went in and looked at my LinkedIn profile. I have more than 2 decades worth of experience managing and leading complex operations, significant budgets. My budgeting processes that I had to deal with were also more about driving the revenue side of the house in order to have a proper balance between the expenses that were involved. And also that was to drive a profit. But I also have a lot of experience with communicating with the public, both from the perspective of people that work directly for me or from the public from a customer perspective. So I am used to confrontation. If you've ever worked in retail, you would know there is confrontation from customers. And so how do you bring that down to a level where you're really fulfilling what it is that they want to have happen? And I believe that that's something that council, your ultimate goal is to really take care of the citizens within Liberty Lake. And why did I decide to do it now? I do not enter into any commitment lightly. I spend a lot of time thinking about it, researching it, and trying to determine what the outcome is going to be for what I can provide, and also for my family.
All right, thank you. So we're going to reset the clock to 2 minutes. So you have an extra 2 minutes to tell us anything that the council may not have asked you about, anything you want them to know.
Thank you very much, Mayor and Council. So I actually do have a few things that are ideas that I wanted to highlight that are places that I believe deserve continued focus from the city. So first, Liberty Lake's rapid growth and aging infrastructure. We need a clear strategic plan that looks beyond the immediate needs and lays out a long-term path to build out. Now, that plan should identify the tools, policies, timing required to meet the city's goals, and most especially, what is the funding going to be? Second, while budget discussions often center on reducing spending or costs, we also need equal focus on growing revenue. There are opportunities like those Kyle has presented that can help fund the city's vision. We can't achieve that vision without the resources necessary to support it. As an example, I was concerned when looking at pages 172 and 173 of the budget binder, where it shows actions need to be taken to reduce pressure on the general fund from 2028 and beyond. Third, the capital facilities plan identifies critical needs: City Hall, this building's renovation, the library, and the police department. But progress depends on strong communication and engagement with the community. Fear of property tax increases often stalls these efforts. Instead of stepping back, we could diversify our revenue strategies. Economic development, grants, sponsorships, structured opportunities for citizen donations, similar to the approach Mount Vernon used for its Library Commons project. And I also encourage the new city council, whoever they are, that you need to ask every day, are we serving the citizens, and are we moving Liberty Lake from being a place to live to a great place to live? And I would be honored to be part of that work.
Time's up. Thank you for being here, and we're going to move on to the next one is Robin Beckett. Thanks. Welcome, Robin.
Hi.
Okay, just a reminder, you have 10 minutes to get through 6 questions. So just gonna watch the clock and
Okay.
your timing. And then at the end, we'll reset the clock to give you enough 2 minutes at the end to summarize or add anything that wasn't addressed that you might want to talk about.
Okay, thank you.
So we're going to go ahead and start the clock as soon as Councilmember Spencer is finished asking his question.
Okay, thanks for being here, Robin.
Thank you.
First question is, what is the proper role of city government and how will that guide your decisions in distinguishing budgetary needs from wants here in Liberty Lake?
So this is textbook because I'm a planner, and the first baseline of city government is protect the health, safety, and general welfare of the people you serve, and the people that you're representing. And the difference, so I see that as working for them, listening to them, providing for them, and asking them, what is the things that you think are more important between wants and needs? So on wants and needs, see, I see it in the budget. If all of us remember the Venn diagram, the 2 concentric circles on top and the one on bottom, I see they're sort of intersecting and trying to find the middle of wants, needs, and budgets. And how that melds together is dependent on what the public would like to see as their wants and needs and what they think, and then what's realistic with the budget too. I understand budget, I understand fiscal impacts and how that works because I've dealt with that myself, either on projects or within while I was working with the government on fiscal impacts, development impact fees. Let me see. Okay, I'll go for the next one.
Okay. All right, next one comes from Councilmember Ball.
Okay, Robin. City governments play a key role in preparedness for wildfire, windstorms, snow events, and other emergencies, hazards. What do you believe the city's priorities should be in strengthening community resilience, and how would you evaluate progress?
So I still am right now on the community engagement, and that's one of the things that we have is to be working on the I call it wildfire resiliency plan. But anyway, and I heard about some of the areas when I was working at the farmer's market and of areas of concern like Bella Lago, and working with the agencies such as DNR, the fire district, the areas that work with this and building relationships so we can work into one unit, I think is important. So you actually have an emergency plan that looks at that area, wildfire resiliency plan, where we know what part and what role we should effectively play.
Okay. Next up is Councilmember Kennedy.
Robin, thanks for being here. Do really appreciate it.
Thank
Robin,
you.
City Council service requires the ability to navigate disagreement, competing community interests, and strong public pressure. Can you share an example of a time you helped bridge differences or build consensus, or explain how you maintain professionalism, impartiality, and constructive relationship through that process?
So on that, I was thinking that would best be termed on my projects that I've worked at. There's hardly any projects that I've worked at, especially now I work for a utility company. And the one thing that we had was engineers, you had accountants, all of us had to work as a team. There was always some element of controversy, not anything disrespectful, but what there was, for example, I was looking at the permitting portion only. Here's what you need to do. The engineer also was looking at the budgeting portion, and here's what we have to do. So what we did was we would go into a room and keep working this out together until we could get to the point where we could get to that project or that particular area where we would feel comfortable because we had governmental agencies needed to work with. We had the public we needed to work with. You had every other agency that the other sector worked with. I worked with planning and environmental. They would work with things such as like Sarbanes-Oxley that I didn't know anything about. So we have to go through that exercise. It was an exercise, and it took some meetings, and it took a few intense meetings. But we made it through to find the ground where to move through the project on time, on budget, how we were going to, and how we would do this to dovetail it together.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Councilmember Kurtz. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
I'm moving ahead. Sorry, Mayor Pro Tem, just cognizant of the time.
Robin, can you tell me a recent decision of the council that you disagree with and why?
I don't know if that maybe I do to some extent, and that was, I didn't understand exactly, I don't understand currently on the budget right now, and on the, I think it's the $10 million or that's up, and why that cannot be approved yet by the city council. And it's not that I think it's my lack of being able to look at the big binders and to see and understand what you're saying on why this is increased. Yet we've increased it this amount of money, and maybe that we shouldn't have, but yet I don't know what the expenses were because I can't see where it's all going to, or if some crisis came up that something needed to be expended in the general fund. So it's probably my lack of exact understanding without having all the information.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, now Councilmember Kurtz.
Okay. Robin, what tools or methods do you believe are most effective for gathering resident input on complex issues, and which are least effective and why?
So I think the most effective is really talking to the people and reaching out in some manner, some way, town hall meetings, door to door, going through having more open houses and things like that, because I think you get a better sense of what they're talking about, because of sometimes body language helps you interpret what they're saying, and that communication is therefore reflective and can be what they're saying if you just talk to them through a survey or just a survey, but you can see and check in on their body language also. So I think that I think maybe the least is surveys, because you cannot exactly know if they're interpreting the question correctly.
Okay, thank you. All right, next up we have Councilmember Dunn.
What motivates you to serve on the city council at this time, and what skills, experiences, or perspectives would you bring that would help you to serve the Liberty Lake community effectively?
So I think what I've done is, because I've been involved so much with the city of Liberty Lake, I call it home. I've been involved in the Community Engagement Commission, and in a way, being involved in the city council is an extension of what I've done. It's an extension of my education, my experience, my qualifications, my volunteer experience that I've done with the city. And I think that this would be a good avenue for me to apply my interest and all the other criteria that I have that I've already explained to do the betterment of Liberty Lake.
Okay. All right, now we will go ahead and reset the clock to 2 minutes, and so you have up to 2 minutes to add anything that.
I thought I was short, and I thought I had to hurry up and
No,
answer.
I'm sorry.
Because I only have, I'm like 1 minute and 34 seconds.
No,
Okay.
no, I said we'll reset the clock after the.
Oh,
after
okay.
the-
I
after the
missed a
question.
question, see?
Okay, so you have 2 minutes to And if there's anything you want to go back and address, obviously, that you didn't feel like you had a chance to answer fully,
Okay.
you can do that, or anything else that you would like to share with the council.
Okay, so one of the things that with what I've done, and I think I'd like to address a little bit more too on controversy, and I still think that I always try and reach and working with the groups and trying to find what I call the best available alternative that can reach and be a compromise that's reasonable. It doesn't mean it's reaching consensus, doesn't mean that we'll all get our way. It just means that it's something we can live with. And I've abided by that. It's worked effectively. And sometimes it just does come down to a vote. I'd like to know that, would like to have you know that the reason too why I'm applying here for the city council is that I want to bring something to the city council. I want to bring what I can. I want to over-deliver, under-promise, and work here as a member and help with the community. In fact, I want to be more involved in the community. I want to build the relationships. We know that once it happens with the city council type of turnover, the relationships that we have sort of need to be at least reconnected, or there used to need to be a little type of reestablishment. And I think I am effective and I'm good at doing that. And so I want to be involved in those areas there that can help. Definitely want to be helpful within any areas I can be in. I am thankful that we're doing the comprehensive plan and that we have a good strategic plan and that we are on priority, the PBB, and using that as an effective tool to help us when planning for capital facilities. So I'm very advocate for that, and my time is up.
It is. Well done, well wrapped up. Thank you very much. And next up, we will have Jacob Phillips. I make sure they didn't snuggle any alcohol in there.
Should talk about all of you.
Welcome, Jacob. Thanks for joining us.
Good evening, everybody.
Hi, so you are going to have 10 minutes to answer the 6 questions from the council members. At that time, then we will reset the clock and you'll have 2 minutes to give a summary and add anything or readdress anything.
Sounds good.
So the clock will start as soon as Councilmember Spencer is finished asking the first question.
All right, thank you for being here tonight, Jacob. My question is, what is the proper role of city government and how will that guide your decisions in distinguishing budgetary needs from wants here in Liberty Lake?
I think that's a great question, Councilmember Spencer. And first and foremost, before I answer, I want to thank you all for the opportunity to be here and for you to, or for me to have you all get to know me a little bit better. So to answer your question, Councilmember Spencer, I believe that the function of the local municipality is to provide guardrails and opportunities for economic development and social support for the citizens. And when you speak on budgetary requirements and needs versus wants, we obviously have to have a balanced budget and we have to respond to what the citizens want. And sometimes there are wants from the citizenry that we're unable to facilitate through the local municipality due to budgetary restrictions. And so I think the council's job is not to constantly find a way to no because it's not in the cards. It's to attempt to meet what the citizenry wants and find a way to yes.
All right, thank you. Councilmember Ball.
Hi, Jacob. So city governments play a key role in preparedness for wildfires, windstorms, snow events, and other emergencies. What do you believe the city's priorities should be in strengthening community resilience, and how would you evaluate progress?
Evaluate progress. That's a great question. Well, I am, through my employer, a part of the safety council for my company's district. And so I do work in some emergency management, emergency preparedness from a professional standpoint presently. And I think that what Mr. McAvoy informed us at the beginning of this meeting and what I saw on Facebook this afternoon about making sure everyone is aware of emergency communications and warnings for things such as poor weather that could adversely affect the citizenry. I think that's extremely important. I think when you look at other factors of emergency management, having a plan in place to mitigate and protect city assets for predictable maybe threats of natural, natural threats like a wildfire. I think that's obviously going to be top priority. How would I evaluate success? I would evaluate success in that we are able as a municipality to navigate an emergency situation effectively with as little damage to city assets and as little impact to the citizenry from a cost perspective as possible.
Thank you. All right, Councilmember Kennedy.
Jacob, thank you for being here. I do appreciate you coming forward on it.
Thank you.
Jacob, city council service requires an ability to navigate disagreement, competing community interests, and strong public pressure. Can you share an example of the time you helped bridge differences or build consensus? And explain how you maintain professionalism, impartiality, and constructive relationship through that process.
Certainly, Councilmember Kennedy. So during my time as the director of the Pentagon Tours program while I was in the military, I entered that program and had the program that I inherited had some troops that there was a significant disagreement between one pool of the employees, let's say, and another pool of the employees when it came to things such as training standards, operational expectations for completing the mission, what that looks like, operational volume. And so what I did in that instance was I made sure to keep myself as impartial as possible with my concentration on accomplishing the mission while taking in the opinions of both sides and trying to find compromise. And I believe compromise is the way forward. I don't believe in digging heels in. I believe in finding a way to yes in a compromising manner.
Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem.
Hi, Jacob. Can you tell me a recent decision of the council that you disagreed with and why?
Certainly, if you'll just give me one moment to ponder here. I would say that, in my opinion, the capital facilities project, or the capital facilities plan rather, to my understanding, and I'm not an expert, I was not here, granted for every minute of discussion around that plan. But in my understanding and what I read in the splash recently during the council member farewells, Councilmember Kennedy mentioned that the capital facilities plan was a done deal, that there were renovations planned for a library and a building was purchased. Those renovations were planned for, and that was a part of the capital facilities plan. I could have some facts wrong, but in my opinion, I personally feel as though once the council has decided on a way forward, such as allocating funds within the budget to complete a capital facilities project, they should move forward rather than I believe that the council should focus on forward progress and moving the ball forward once a decision has been made, as opposed to second guessing those decisions. Ultimately, the council is here to make decisions on behalf of the citizenry that they represent and the constituency. And so while I understand there was an advisory vote to inform the council of the opinion, it's my understanding that CFP was in the works prior to that advisory election. So I understand that introduced new information and everyone voted the way that they voted. Me personally, I would have liked to see the plan move forward as it was already laid out.
Thank you. All right, next up, Councilmember Kurtz.
All right, Jacob, what tools or methods do you believe are most effective for gathering resident input on complex issues, and which are least effective and why?
That's a great question. I attempt to participate in the various forms of information gathering that the council offers when it comes to taking polls at the farmer's market, for example, or on social media. And I think social media is a great tool. I think social media provides an opportunity for citizens that would otherwise maybe not have the means to attend a city council meeting to provide their comments and what they want to see. I think polls in public events such as the farmers market are great. And I also agree with the advisory votes on the election. I think those are all great information gathering tools. I think personally, the methodology of gathering the information, how you get it, is much less important than the volume that you get. So I believe in leveraging all the tools at your disposal to gather as much information as possible from the constituents to move forward effectively.
Thank you. Councilmember Dunn.
What motivates you to serve on the city council at this time? And what skills, experiences, or perspectives would you bring that would help you to serve the Liberty Lake community effectively?
Thanks for the question, Councilmember Dunn. So again, during my time in the military, I had exposure to various nonprofit organizations. They are military centric. So through that process, I gained experience in the rules of order, for example, and various other procedures. I think that in this case, what motivates me, again, I joined the military to serve my country. And I look at this very similarly. In my application, I stated that a well-governed municipality is the cornerstone of American representative democracy. I believe that to my core. And so I see this as an opportunity for me to do my part and move forward in a way where I am committed to the carrying out the duties of the council in a nonpartisan fashion.
All right, thank you. All right, so we will take a breath. We're going to reset the clock to 2 minutes. And so this is your time to add anything, tell us more or not.
Okay, excellent. Well, as I said, first and foremost, thank you all very much for the opportunity to be here tonight and to speak. I recognize I have not lived in Liberty Lake very long. I know that there are other candidates and in the back there we've been talking and having a great time and getting to know each other, and there are excellent candidates. Ultimately, my motivation or ultimately what I want to see is someone fill this seat that is going to represent the constituency and carry out their role in a nonpartisan fashion. I think that's extremely important. For me, I feel like I'm up to the task. I see this as an opportunity not just to leverage the skills that I have in organizational leadership and procedure and administrative duties, but also as an opportunity to grow myself. And I'm not afraid to say that is a part of it. I want to be a part of the community, and I think this would give me an excellent opportunity to be out there and become a more involved member of the community. So that's a big motivation for me. I thank you all very much for your consideration tonight. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, next up we have Mike. I don't know if he goes by Mike or Michael Willis. We'll hold him off. We'll hold him. Oh. Okay. Go too fast.
So is it Mike or Mike?
I don't know. I'll ask him.
Okay.
Hello. Wait, we just want to clarify, do you go by Michael or Mike?
Mike.
Okay, just want to make sure. All right. Mike Kennedy just went to the restroom real quick, so we're gonna wait till he comes back. But just a reminder, you'll have 10 minutes to answer the 6 questions from the council members, then we'll stop. We'll reset the clock for 2 minutes and you'll have those 2 minutes to tell us whatever you'd like to add.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Okay, so just take a couple deep breaths until we get back. It's only fair that he's here to hear the answers as well. There we go. That was quick. All right, so we're going to start off with Councilmember Spencer, and the clock will start as soon as he's finished answering asking the first question.
Okay, Mike, thanks for being here tonight.
Thank you.
My question for you is, what is the proper role of city government, and how will that guide your decisions in distinguishing budgetary needs from wants here in Liberty Lake?
Well, I think primarily the role of city government is to help guide not only in the social aspects of the city, but the economic aspects, help grow business, but also primarily to provide important social structures as well to the city and the residents. You have to balance the needs of the population with how much money you're taking in, because all of that costs money. Sometimes the expenditures can go over what you bring in, and that's something you have to take into account. Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Councilmember Ball.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
City governments play a key role in preparedness for wildfires, windstorms, snow events, other emergencies, hazards. What do you believe the city's priorities should be in strengthening community resilience? And how would you evaluate progress?
Yeah, thank you. It's a great question. One of the primary things I would do when I lived in California, I was certified through the FEMA Community Emergency Response Team program. It's called CERT. It's a federal program that is funded entirely by FEMA and the state. It's no cost to cities. What it does is it trains individual citizens to respond to emergency situations, whether it is floods or fires or volcanic eruptions, terrorist attacks, school shootings, the entire gamut. It's usually about a week-long course that's run. You get certified, they provide you all the equipment. When you go, you get a backpack full of gas main wrenches, a hard hat. They teach you how to mark houses for damage, how to invent first aid training, all that stuff. One of the first things that I would do, and I have currently been in communication with the Washington director of CERT to try and bring that program here to Liberty Lake.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we have Councilmember Kennedy.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Really do. It's difficult to come forward for this type of stuff, and
certainly
we are nervous, but welcome. City council service requires the ability to navigate disagreements, competing community interests, and strong public pressure. Can you share an example of time you helped bridge differences and build consensus, and explain how you maintain professionalism, impartiality, and constructive relationship through that process?
Certainly. One of the greatest examples I can bring to mind was while I was a merchant marine over in the Persian Gulf, working with a multitude of different national allies, whether it was Gurkhas from India, Arab workers from the local community in the Persian Gulf. There were arguments every day between our Arabic workers, the Filipino workers, as well as the Gurkha soldiers that protected us. Several times I helped de-escalate several potentially volatile and even violent situations between them just by remaining calm and cool and collected.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Mike, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Can you tell me a recent decision of the council that you disagreed with and why?
Certainly. I have been rather a strong supporter of the library. And one of the things I have disagreed with was some of the focus on, in many ways, focusing too much on limiting the library's selection of books. To me, it's very important that knowledge is universally applicable to all people and available to all people, regardless of our personal stances. We may not agree with some materials, but it needs to be available for everybody. And personally, I would have supported just letting the library, the people who work there that you have selected to run and administer that agency, to kind of control their own future.
Thank you. Councilmember Kurtz.
All right, Mike, what tools or methods do you believe are most effective for gathering resident input on complex issues? And which are the least effective and why?
Oh, that's a very good question. I would say one of the most effective tools would simply be communicating with the public directly. Relying on social media, while a useful tool, I don't think social media is necessarily the best tool to use, because you're going to have a very vocal subgroup of either supporters or detractors making themselves very well known. Directly communicating like the council does at the fairs and at the farmers market, directly speaking with the public, I think is probably the most effective way of knowing what the public truly wants. That's primarily what I would rely upon, is direct communication.
Okay. All right. Next up, we have Councilmember Dunn.
What motivates you to serve on the city council at this time? And what skills, experiences, or perspectives would you bring that would help you to serve the Liberty Lake community effectively?
Thank you. 27 years, I've been a servant of what I consider the people, whether it was 11 years, both in uniform and as a civilian contractor with the Navy. Service is the only thing that's important to me. It's the defining characteristic of who I am. My wife kind of fought against me for 27 years, ever running for politics, even though I've considered it many times. And a few weeks ago, when I spoke in front of the council, I had several people come up to me and say, "You really need to run." By the time I got home, my wife had about a dozen text messages from many of her friends saying, your husband did a great job. You really need to get him to run for council. There's an empty seat. And after a couple of days of talking with her and going over our thoughts, she finally said, "You need to do this. You've been talking about it for 20 plus years." And yeah, I decided to throw my hat in the ring. I think I can do a fantastic job serving the people of Liberty Lake. And honestly, I look forward to it if you guys trust me with this.
All right. So we'll take a breath, reset the clock for 2 minutes, and the time is yours to, like I said, elaborate on anything you've already said or give new information, however you'd like to use your time.
Thank you. I just wanted to thank Madam Mayor, the council, for the time to be able to speak with you and to be able to put my name forward for this. I truly do think that the candidates that you have in the other room are all amazing, fantastic candidates. I could not think of a better group of candidates to help lead Liberty Lake into the middle of the 21st century and hopefully beyond. Personally, I think that my dedication to service and my years and decades of working for communities around the world stands me in a fantastic steading amongst otherwise fantastic candidates. And I truly look forward to serving the people of Liberty Lake if selected. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. All right, we will move on to the next one. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
All right, so next up we have Judy Schumacher. All right. Big difference there.
Sorry, mic's a little tall.
Welcome, Judy. So just as a reminder, you'll have 10 minutes to answer the 6 questions from the council members, and then we'll reset the clock and you'll have 2 minutes to add, elaborate, not, whatever, however you'd like to use that time. Okay. So the clock will start as soon as Councilmember Spencer is finished asking his first question.
Thank you, Judy. What is the proper role of city government, and how will that guide your decisions in distinguishing budgetary needs from wants here in Liberty Lake?
So our city council is in charge of the ordinances and the budget for this city. An individual council member may do additional things with their time to help the city out, like staffing the farmers market booth or attending a ribbon cutting at a new business to welcome them into our city. But in terms of wants and needs, you really have to look at that in terms of the variety of people who live in a city, because what one person wants or considers a need is going to be different than another person. Do we need another police officer? Yes or no? Maybe. Do we need a dog park? So there's variations, a spectrum, if you will, of what we want and what we need. And what's incumbent upon us to do as leaders of our city is to hear a variety of answers, is to understand what people are thinking, in depth and how broad their opinions are, in addition to figuring out what are the ways of funding these. How can we get the people who want these things to put some skin in the game and look at it holistically.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Next up, Councilmember Ball.
Thanks for coming in. City government plays a key role in preparedness for wildfires, windstorms, snow events, and other emergencies. What do you believe the city's priorities should be in strengthening community resilience, and how would you evaluate progress?
So there's the Spokane Emergency Management partnerships, I think is what we need to be working with, is those partners. And I think they will have ways to help evaluate progress. What the city can be doing certainly is educational pieces, whether that is a class at the library on resilience lawns, or having lists that people can download very easily of what to have in a go bag available. There are things we can do to put information out there that's easily accessible to our residents, but also in terms of thinking about traffic and how we define arterials in our city to make sure that there's evacuation options for folks. But again, working with our regional partners and having those relationships, I think, is critical.
Thank you. Next up is Councilmember Kennedy.
Thanks, Judy. Thanks for being here. Judy, city council service requires the ability to navigate disagreement, competing community interests, and strong public pressure. Can you share an example of the time you helped bridge differences or build consensus, and explain how you maintain professionalism, partiality, and constructive relationship through that process?
Sure. So my professional career was project management and process improvement. So I was always really in a position of working with people who didn't report to me, with different perspectives, and needing to get us to the end of a project, needing to agree on sometimes what the problem is we're trying to solve, getting them to agree on what data we need to collect and how we're going to make decisions. So I saw my role as somebody who finds connections between people, making sure that when you're explaining your position, what I was really good at is reframing that so that I could help somebody else understand that and get you both speaking to each other and not speaking past one another. I think that's a critical skill set that I wish our students were taught how to help people hear each other better. But that's really where my strength lies.
Thank you.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem.
Judy, thank you for coming. Can you tell me a recent decision of the city council that you disagreed with and why?
So I'm just going to jump in and talk about something recent that felt really tense in this room. I think it was last week when there was a request to change the library item on the facilities plan. And when I'm sitting back in that audience on my tablet, I'm writing myself notes about, how I would approach it, what I would think about. And I wish I'd had a voice, because I would have loved to talk about how the way it is currently actually is a problem, and we do need to address it, but we need more information, right? So while I would have voted to change it, I wouldn't have done it the way it was done, because way more information is needed. That particular item is actually connected with other items in that plan, like remodeling the old library for the police station. Well, if we don't do one, we don't do the other. So how do we move one? So what I would have liked to have done is talk about it a little more. And, I feel like at this point in the conversation, things are heated enough that there wasn't room to breathe. So that's how I would have approached it differently.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next up is Councilmember Kurtz.
Right. Judy, what tools or methods do you believe are most effective for gathering resident input on complex issues? Which are the least effective, and why?
Well, I think Facebook is the least effective. It is a very limited group of people. They're behind a mask that you can't see. So those kinds of communications, while can be useful, are not an effective way to gather lots of great opinions. The Winter Glow town hall we had some months ago, I thought was very effective because there was a large room. It was very well planned out. I loved the fact that we had a QR code and we could do survey questions real time. That made a huge difference and allowed people to then see what the room was thinking, get the temperature, change questions real time. So those kinds of things I would love to see our city do more of. There was just a lot of great energy, and I think people left that meeting feeling heard.
Thank you. And next up, we have Councilmember Dunn.
What motivates you to serve on the city council at this time? And what skills, experiences, or perspectives would you bring that would help you to serve the Liberty Lake community effectively?
So what motivates me is really wanting to be part of moving things forward. That the only way we can live in a community that has great leaders is if people step up to lead. So if I want data looked at differently, well, you know, it's not enough for me to sit in the back of the room and wish I could say something. I need to be able to tell you how I'm looking at the data or how I see a perspective. So that is why I want to be part of this conversation, because I want a city that has qualified, capable leaders stepping into the role. And I think that was a two-part question. Could you remind me of the second part?
About your perspectives that would help to serve the people of the community.
I feel like my perspectives are really grounded in listening, that I had a lot of listening training in a program at a church that I was attending that I think was a great foundation. But my career in project management and process improvement, constantly talking with people who didn't, you know, I didn't know what they did, and being able to really hear them, I think those are critical.
All right, so we're gonna take a breath, reset the clock, and the next 2 minutes are yours.
Okay. So it was about 25 years ago where a colleague at work showed me how to create a pivot table in Excel. And I was in love. Now, it was not with the colleague. It was with spreadsheets and it was with Excel. I love data. I love analyzing it. I love looking at it. And it was not long after that time where my boss at the time didn't want to do this Six Sigma project thing, so she sent me in her place. And the brand new director of our project and process improvement division in our area of the corporation saw in me not only an innate skill to look at data and analyze data and play with data, but also to look at a complex process I knew nothing about and dive in and ask questions to figure out the nuances, ask questions to think about unintended consequences, to make sure that everybody else understood it, really being able to probe into those. And they hired me away. And I stopped working for the bankruptcy department and worked for process improvement. They gave me training and I spent the rest of my career doing that. And when you combine that with my frugal nature, which, I mean, I don't even let my husband throw out the toothpaste tubes because I can always squeeze a little more out of that little sucker. So I'm frugal by nature and I've got all this training that really brings people together and lets me hear them and hear each other. I just think that's a great fit for City Council. So thank you for your time.
Great, thanks for being here. Okay, we got 2 left. We've got Jim Baumker next. Welcome. The podium is yours. So we're going to start off.
On?
It is.
Okay.
So you'll have 10 minutes to answer the 6 questions from the council, and then we will reset the clock and give you your additional 2 minutes to elaborate, get new information, whatever.
That's great.
So the clock will start as soon as Councilmember Spencer is finished asking his first question.
Thanks, Jim. My question is, what is the proper role of city government and how will that guide your decisions in distinguishing budgetary needs from wants here in Liberty Lake?
Well, I'll answer that, but first I want to say thank you to Mr. Cargill and Spencer and Kennedy. It's no fun job. Thank you for your service. I think it's a difficult job that you guys, and a good job that you guys have done. I was thinking the only worst job I can think of would be be an officer for your HOA. I'm up for it, and I really don't want to do that. But to answer your question, I think I look at it as there's a threshold level of service that the city has to provide, and that threshold level involves public safety and fiscal responsibility. And then after that, I think it's the part of the or the role of the council to make sure that the city employees have the talent and the resources to execute on that. And then I think after that, the challenge for council members is to really ascertain what it is that what additional amenities do the citizens want, figuring out those amenities, prioritizing them, and then figure out how to make them happen. So,
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Next up, we have Councilmember Ball.
Hi, Jim.
Like your
Oh, thank you. So, city government plays a key role in preparedness for wildfires, windstorms, snow events, and other emergencies, hazards. What do you believe the city's priorities should be in strengthening community resilience? And how would you evaluate progress?
Yeah, I'm part of the Planning Commission, and we've been looking extensively at that resiliency. And I think one of the threats that we have to think about is with elderly population. And when we do have a crisis where we lose power, how do we protect those citizens in those types of situations? And I know we think about losing power kind of like during the winter months, but let me tell you, it can happen during the summer months as well. And we're with rolling blackouts and things like that. And the impact on elderly without air conditioning, it can be devastating. So I think one of the things we have to think about is developing a resiliency plan for those types of events, because it wouldn't surprise me if it would be starting to happen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure.
All right. Next up, we have Councilmember Kennedy.
Thanks, Jim. It's always good to see you.
Always good to see you, Mike.
Very good. City council service requires ability to navigate disagreement. Excuse me,
I
disagreement.
noticed that.
Yeah. I can stop right there. Okay, navigate disagreement, competing community interests, and strong public pressure. Can you share an example of time you helped bridge differences or build consensus? Explain how you maintain professionalism, impartiality, and constructive relationship through that process.
Well, it can be challenging at times. I go back to my days as a chief financial officer. We had to do a lot of reconciliations of various budget requirements between different organizations. And, I think at the end of the day, it's respect for the individuals. And also, I think a lot of it is trust that those individuals you may not agree with, but they have their opinions, they have their feelings, and you have to respect that. But at the end of the day, whatever decision is made, you got to go with it. You can't go around backstabbing and backbiting and things like that. If the council makes a decision, then we're on board. Let's go with it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Jim, thanks for being here.
Sure.
My question is, can you tell me about a recent decision of the council that you disagreed with and why?
Well, I don't know if this is a final decision or not, I know the council is looking at paying down the bond. And I think that's irresponsible. And the reason why I think it's irresponsible is because, number one, it's not necessary. And number two, without understanding what the longer term capital requirements are, it just does, I don't see why to pay that down.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Next, we have Councilmember Kurtz.
All right. Jim, what tools or methods do you believe are most effective for gathering resident input on complex issues? And which are the least effective and why?
Boy, I think I don't trust social media. That's just my generation. And I don't know that much about it. But I think the engagement committees that the council has put together, I think that's the way to do it. It's really one-on-one communication. You know, talking with people, meeting them at the pop-ups and things like that. I think that's the way you understand what people want. That's my answer.
Thanks. Next up, we have Councilmember Dunn.
What motivates you to serve on the city council at this time? And what skills, experiences, or perspectives would you bring that would help you to serve the Liberty Lake community effectively?
Jokingly, the motivation would be is if I don't do this, I may end up on a HOA, which I really do not want to do. No. I think that, well, I've sensed like some concern within council members regarding the budget and the increase in the budget. I've had a lot of experience in doing different kinds of budget, everything from zero base to something that I call threshold budgeting, which is a concept that if I get the chance, I'd look, whether you guys choose me or not, I think it's a valid concept that we ought to take a look at. Because so often you say, well, what'd you spend last year? Or what was your budget last year? And we'll just automatically start with that as a base. There's a better way to do it, and I call it threshold budgeting. And so I'd like to introduce that. I think the other thing is that I think I can add value because I think these meetings are too long in general. They go on for 2, 3, 4 hours. And if we can't get our jobs done in a couple hours, then what the hell are we doing? So.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take a quick breath and reset the clock, and the next 2 minutes are yours.
Oh, okay.
So whatever you'd like to add, elaborate on, or not at all, it's your time.
I think there's a couple of other things that the city has done really good job in partnering with other resources. I like to make sure that we continue that, partnering with the CV, for example. I think we've done a good job on that. I'd like to see us continue more partnering with CV for various, and maybe it could be with a recreational area. Maybe it could be swimming. Maybe it could be a pool, something like that. I'd like to see a lot more of looking at partnering with other parties, whether it's the county or CV, so that we can leverage each other's expertise and resources.
Anything else? No follow-ups allowed.
I just want to know what CV is he?
Oh, Central Valley.
Central Valley Schools.
Okay, I just wanted to make
That's
sure.
okay.
Yeah.
They have a swimming program, but they have to go all the way to Cheating.
Oh.
They really do, they could use a pool, but maybe that's something we could figure out a way to partner.
Okay, all right, 53 seconds, need that or no?
I think that's good enough.
Okay, well, we thank you for being here.
Okay.
Thank you.
And we got Abigail up next. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. So just a quick reminder, you'll have 10 minutes to answer the 6 questions from the council. And then at the end, we will reset the clock and you'll have an additional 2 minutes to use as you'd like.
Alrighty.
But thanks for being here. We're going to start with Councilmember Spencer and the clock will start when he is finished asking his first question.
Thank you for being here. Do you go by Abigail or Abby?
Abby.
Abby, okay, thanks for being here, Abby. My question for you is, what is the proper role of city government and how will that guide your decisions in distinguishing budgetary needs from wants here in Liberty Lake?
That is a great question. As a city council member, our role is to be an expert listener. That is both towards the staff and their analysis and then towards our residents and constituents. Once we hear everyone's opinion, it is then our job to vote on policy and make the hard decisions that the community doesn't want to make. Because reading 100 pages of policy is boring to some people, and so it's our job to listen, to read, and to be curious, and to care for the citizens and their needs.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Councilmember Ball.
Hi, Abby. City governments play a key role in preparedness for wildfires, windstorms, snow events, other emergency and hazards. What do you believe the city's priorities should be in strengthening community resilience, and how would you evaluate that progress?
Yeah, so first and foremost, we're always going to protect our essential services. So that's public safety and the capacities therein, because they help every other emergency department. Further, we as a city need to make sure that our budget puts aside revenue for that function while maintaining healthy reserves and while being fiscally conservative as is possible.
Thank you. Thank you. Next is Councilmember Kennedy.
Thanks, Abby. I appreciate you coming forward. I really do. Abby, the city council service requires the ability to navigate disagreement, competing community interests, and strong public pressure. Can you share an example of the time you helped bridge differences or build consensus, and explain how you maintain professionalism, impartiality, and constructive relationship through that process?
Yes, that's a very good question. First, I want to say that I may disagree with an idea, but I will never disagree with a person. I can work professionally with people that I disagree with. I'm not afraid of debate. I'm not afraid of compromise, and I'm not afraid of moving forward as a council, even if we all do not agree. For the structure of the government to be trusted by our residents, we need to move forward, even if we do not agree in certain areas. As for an example where I had to do that, I served in student government, both at my community college and then at my university. BSU, the university I went to, went through a pretty hectic time while I was there for a few different issues. While there, I maintained my dedication to the students and to their betterment. Being in charge of the budget, I had to keep my eyes on the job a lot. And so I didn't get a lot of time to get into disagreements. I kept my head out of it and just did my job.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next up is Mayor Pro Tem Cargill.
Abby, can you tell me a recent decision of the council that you disagree with and why?
Disagree with? Well, I'll start with one I agree with because that's easier. Renewing the contract with the Spokane County Sheriff's Office, obviously that is non-negotiable. As one of my references, public safety is top priority for me. And so that's amazing. And I like that a lot. As for disagree with, maybe tonight, we have to pass budgets. According to state law, we have to pass budgets. But you know, as a resident and as a citizen, I would have liked to look through it more before I would have voted yes on it. That doesn't mean I would have voted no on it, but I like research, and I would have maybe looked at a few more aspects.
Thank you.
All right, next up, we've got Councilmember Kurtz.
Right. Abby, what tools or methods do you believe are most effective for gathering resident input on complex issues, and which are the least effective and why?
So I'll just start by listing some. emailing, even polling the neighborhoods, surveying, going out and just asking questions of the residents. Moreover, posting on social media. I know that our social media doesn't get the most involvement, but that's really important, especially for young people. Further, having the meetings available on YouTube, that's where I've watched them. And that's a very good thing. I'd say that for young people versus older generations, it's different what is best and what is worse. What I would fall back on is we need to reach out and we need to be consistent about reaching out. Did you also ask about a worse way of communication? Worst way of communication, probably not reaching out, just getting caught up in our little spheres of city staff and elected officials and forgetting that the residents actually play a part and a role.
Thank you. All right, next up, we have Councilmember Dunn.
What motivates you to serve on the city council at this time? And what skills, experiences, and perspectives would you bring that would help you serve the Liberty Lake community effectively?
That is a very big question. I don't know if I could answer that completely in 2 minutes. To start, I'd say that I aspire to be trusted and I aspire to serve. Liberty Lake is a special community and I found it to be very special in the almost 2 years I've been here. I want residents who live here to be able to enjoy their community, their family, and the outdoor areas we have without worrying about politics when they don't want to. I want to be that trusted. I aspire to be that trusted by the citizens. Furthermore, I aspire to serve, to give my time with no way for anybody to give my time back. So that is the main reason I want to be a council member. As for my experience, my professional experience, I listed it on my application. That includes student government at my community college, where I interacted with the Board of Education regularly, which is very similar to the city council. I sat through collective bargaining deals, which they allowed me to do. That's not a thing that just any regular student gets to do. I debated, I compromised with my constituents, and I also oversaw a budget there. Lastly, at BSU, where I went to university, I was the administrative director, where I oversaw a $3+ million budget and also sat over the creation of the budget for the next calendar year. And then I guess I will mention I worked for the Bureau of Land Management briefly in their public affairs team. And while in that position, I got to experience mitigation efforts with Lava Ridge, which is a very big project, if any of you have heard of that. And that is my professional experience.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we're going to let you take a breath here real quick. We'll reset the clock and you have 2 minutes to use as you wish.
Yeah, so I just want to reiterate my love for the community and people I have found here in Liberty Lake. I strongly believe that my experience both at Treasure Valley Community College with governance and then my experience at BSU with budgeting are directly relevant to that of city council member. Additionally, I know that my demographic would be used in collaboration with other council members' knowledge for the benefit of Liberty Lake. I want to help keep safe what Liberty Lake has built over the past 20 years while guiding it into the growth it faces and the new challenge it faces the next 20. Whether appointed or not, I am committed to serving Liberty Lake, and I am excited to see where the next couple years of growth takes us. I would be very honored to serve. Thank you all for your time tonight.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, that concludes our interviewees. So we'll bring them back. We'll take a 5-minute break and then come back if that's okay. So we've got 8:08. Okay, welcome back, everybody. Great interviews, everybody. I think we've got a great pool of candidates here. I really, I'm encouraged by the number of applicants, the quality of your interviews. So it's going to be a tough rest of the night, I think. So typically what we do is the council will adjourn to executive session to discuss qualifications. Then we'll come back out and follow the process that I described earlier. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Madam Mayor, we move to executive session per RCW 42.30.110, section 1H, to evaluate the qualifications of a candidate for appointment to an elected office.
Do we have a we have a second by Councilmember Kennedy? Any discussion? Mayor Pro Tem?
As I mentioned earlier, having been involved in at least 3 of these now, there is nothing that we can't discuss out here that we could discuss in executive session. So I unfortunately think that this is going to cloud the process and make it much more difficult for us to have a quality decision. So thank you.
Any other comments before I go to a vote? Councilmember Kennedy.
Can I amend that motion that we can also allow the discussion here if any council members want to have that
Yeah,
discussion?
there's nothing preventing that. Do we need an amendment to do that, Sean?
Well, that depends.
Always love that answer.
Because what is necessarily in an executive session is material that stays within the confines of the session. So if the intent is to want to discuss what's in the executive session, then that
No.
privilege
Right.
doesn't then apply.
Right. But it doesn't disallow it if the council wants to have discussion here
But it can't.
in addition to.
I mean, you could certainly have discussion about the selection process and the candidates and how moving forward. with
Right.
Selection, yes, because that's what you'll be doing once you
Yeah,
come out.
that's fine.
Yeah.
But not to discuss what was discussed.
Right.
in
Yeah.
there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so is there anything precluding that, or should we
No,
get
I
a
don't,
second?
I think we addressed what you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so no need for the amendment. Okay,
Okay.
all right. So if there's no further discussion, are those in favor of adjourning to this executive session, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
No.
All right, motion passes 4-2. So we will adjourn. We'll start with 30 minutes. So feel free to roam about the country. Get us go across the street, 30 minutes, grab a snack across the street, come back. So unfortunately, when we do that 30 minutes, if we're done in 5, we still have to wait the 30 minutes. So we will see everybody back here at 8:40.
The council has requested an additional 5 minutes. We will return at 8:45.
If you want to go ahead. Okay, welcome back, everybody. The council's had their executive session. So the next item on our agenda is general business, and we don't have any for the consent agenda. That takes us to general business, our action item, which is the appointment of a selected applicant for city council position 7. So again, I'm going to go through there will be opportunity in case council wants to add some additional comments, but just a reminder of our process here. And we talked a little bit more in generalities in executive session. So I will ask each council member in their council position order to give their top 3 candidates, alphabetical by first name, as close as you can get in that alphabetical there. And then, so the goal is to down select to the top 5 at that point. If we have a tie at 4, that will make make 4 and 5. After that, we will have the council from those top 5 provide their top 2. And those will be the 2 that may or may not get nominated. So when we get down to the top 2, the council will make a nomination, and then we will select randomly. I will go back through my little pieces of paper here. We will select randomly who gets voted on first. In the past, it's been whoever gets nominated first, but that's kind of a jostling for who's going to raise their hand first. So it was a request to do that randomly. So I'll do that. So I guess we open it up to the council. We won't there's no motion at this point for this. So we'll open up for any further council discussion before we go to our selections. Mayor Pro Tem.
Well, as I mentioned before we went into executive session, I wanted to make clear that whatever I said back there, I was going to say out here. So to me, this process all comes down to 3 things. One, this is former council member Wendy Van Orman's expiring seat. She ran for the seat, was overwhelmingly elected. And while she had to step down for health reasons, I think it's important for us to keep that in mind as we determine who will take the remainder of this seat. I think probably the most important factor in my judgment is who is the most experienced, who can hit the ground running, who has the knowledge and the background to be able to help lead the city, especially in the critical financing decisions that we're going to have over the next couple of years. And then the third component of this is somewhat unrelated, but it is still one that I take very seriously. And that is once Councilmember Spencer's term expires, this council will not have any member from the River District. It will all be folks who live south of the freeway. And I think it's critically important that we have more geographic balance on the council as we make these tough decisions. Right now, one neighborhood in particular, my neighborhood, is very well represented on this council. And so I made the comment in an executive session that I don't believe that we need yet another person from the Rocky Hill neighborhood, but I'm making that point to say that I think it's important to have different neighborhoods represented on this body. So
For
thank you.
clarification, one of our incoming council members does live in Trutina.
Trutina, thank you.
Yes. Councilmember Dunn.
I just really want to say a hearty thank you to each one of the candidates who are here tonight. Your effort and time and energy to stand and be a part of this really speaks volumes to how much you care about the community. For those who may not be selected tonight as a council member, I want to really encourage you to look at the other commissions and councils that the city has. Each one of them are excellent opportunities to understand more about local governments, the people in the process, and also just the great employees and staff here at the city. So please, if for any reason you're not selected here tonight, do not hesitate to think about or remember there are a lot of other commissions to participate in. So thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Councilmember Kurtz.
And I just wanted to say something similar that just because you may not be voted in, or maybe I don't vote for you for whatever reason, it doesn't mean I'm voting against you. There are only so many votes, and I was super impressed with everybody's interviews today. And I do hope that you guys join another council, another commission or a board, or that you choose to run in the future. So thank you guys all for being here.
Councilmember Spencer.
Thank you. Having gone through the appointment process twice, not being selected the first time and selected the second time, and then having to run an election and being elected, it's not a fun process on either side. But you do have to consider your audience in both situations. All you have to do is convince 6 of us whether you're the right person in this scenario. Then you have to convince thousands if you go out and run. And so I applaud all of you for coming. You all gave very excellent answers across the board. So thank you for coming tonight.
Councilmember Ball.
Excuse me, I want to echo that I'm also grateful for all of you who applied and have shown up tonight. Right now, I feel almost as nervous as you probably are. I'm not liking this, having to whittle it down at all. So if I don't say your name, it doesn't mean that I don't think you did a fantastic job or that I don't love you or whatever. But, you know, I can only make 3 choices. So anyway, but thank you all so much for showing up.
Okay. Anybody else? Councilmember Kennedy.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I agree with the councilman. They say that, you know, thanks for all you've come forward. It's a nervous thing to do. It's tough when you stick your head up above the crowd, because we can all have opinions and stuff. But once you rise to the occasion to become a council member, you really stick your head out there, and also your back is exposed also. So I appreciate the people that come forward. I'm very consistent over the years. I've been through this where I've been through appointments, elections, looking for individuals to run for office and stuff. And I've always tried to be very, very consistent on what I look for. And based on that, first thing I look for is qualifications. What is the job? Who is qualified for that? Not just on paper, because of resumes, everybody's qualified. But it really comes down to, are they qualified to be able to do the job? Have they done the job in the past, or they've done similar jobs to that? Then what I look at, a huge criteria is that these individuals, who has volunteered, who's been on committees and stuff. That is huge for me. That is beyond huge. We can have individuals that have the best of intentions, but they've not been able to be on any committees. And I hope that those individuals, as Councilman Dunn said, to please get involved because that will certainly help you as time goes on. But then what I look at is the third thing, the individuals that they're on committees. What I look at, how do they represent the city when they're on that committee? Do they represent the form of government that the citizens of Liberty Lake voted on? Because what I've heard over the years is people say, well, the council is not listening, or some of the council doesn't listen. Well, what we have to listen to is the people. And how do we listen to the people is to look at what is our form of government? Our form of government is 7 individuals who have the task of making all the ordinances, policy, and rules. That's all policies for all departments. So I look at the criteria that people, how they come forward, the things that they're passionate about. Do they also maintain the importance of what our form of government is? And if that is not there, then I can't support them no matter what. Thank you.
Okay. Go ahead.
And I think it's really important for those of us who sit around this table to explain why we're making the decision that we're making. I also appreciate all of you, but I think the best way to show my appreciation for all of you is to tell you how I view this and what qualifications I look at. It's real easy for us to say, hey, we appreciate you, and now we're going to go behind closed doors and talk about you, and then not come out and explain why we're voting how we're voting. So I hope you'll get that explanation tonight, because you all deserve it. Thank you.
Well, like Councilmember Spencer, I went through this process myself twice. Was glad I didn't get it the first time because I wasn't ready, and started going to council meetings. And then I lost an election, and then I was fortunate to be appointed. And so come January 1st, I'll be 10 days shy of 16 years sitting here. So I've been through, like I said, I've lost count of how many appointments I've seen as a council member and as mayor. We had quite a run there in 21 and 22 there for a while. I will say, based on that experience, this is far and above the most qualified group that I have ever seen come through here. I'm really proud for that. I'm really proud to see so many people wanting to get involved and to serve. That was my goal when I started. I think it's everybody's goal. We just want to be here to help and do something. And so I think you all did great. I'm hoping I don't have to break a tie. In this case, I will be forced to if we do have a 3-3 tie in the end. But know that I'm extremely proud to have every single one of you guys here. And I know a lot of you, I don't know some, but I really, really hope to see you guys stick around, because we have so many people who come out of the woodwork sometimes for this, and we never see them again. And I like the example, and I can't remember which time it was, but we had quite a few candidates at that time. I think I was on council at the time. And we had to go into a second day. This was not the meeting I was talking about earlier, but we had to go into a second day. We did the interviews during a regular council meeting. We had council business to do. And I want to say we had 8 or 9 candidates. And so we'd let everybody know we're going to have to continue and do the vote at the next meeting. Half of those candidates got up and left. So imagine how quickly a lot of our lists got pared down at that time. And one guy mumbled, "I got to get up for work tomorrow." Okay. But I applaud your persistence in being here, and I really, really do hope to see more of all of you going forward. Okay, I think all of our speeches are done. So I will go ahead, and again, I'm going to go in order of position. If you can give me your top 3 in alphabetical order. Before I do that, I will confirm, Rochelle, were we noticed to 10 o'clock or 9?
It was noticed to 9.
Okay, so we will need to have somebody, since we're 3 minutes till 9, to,
Mayor, I'll make a
Oh,
motion
yeah.
to suspend the rules.
Second.
okay? And motion is to suspend the rules so we can extend the meeting. All those in favor of suspending the rules, please say aye. Any opposed? Not hearing any. Now do we have a motion to
Mayor,
extend?
I'll make a motion to extend to 9:30.
Great, we have a second.
Second.
We have a motion second. Those in favor of extending the meeting to 9:30, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we are officially extended to 9:30. Okay, so position 1, Councilmember Ball.
just list them out and.
The top three in alphabetical order by first name.
Right. Judy, Lynn, Mike.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem.
Abigail, Hugh, Jacob.
Okay. Next we have Councilmember Dunn.
Judy Schumacher, Hugh Severs, and Lynn Atkins.
Okay. Councilmember Spencer.
Abby Sprague, Hugh Severs, and Jim Baumker.
Okay. Councilmember Kurtz.
Judy, Lynn, and Mike. Judy, Lynn, and Mike.
We may not get down to 5. Okay. Councilmember Kennedy.
Hugh, James, and Michael.
Okay. Oh, I'm adding him up the wrong direction.
We're down to 5.
Yeah, thanks. I had them. I'm like, why is everybody getting 3? That's because each of you gave me 3. Okay, let me do this real quick just to make sure we're all in sync. That didn't work. Okay, so looks like our top are we have Hugh Severs and Mike Willis and Judy Schumacher and Lynn Adkins, and that takes us to 4. And then we do have that takes us to a tie for the 5th position. And that's where I had to break it, right? John? Because we have, we don't,
think we were doing that in this sense. It was, I
we were down selecting to.
Yeah, I think that the
5.
intent was if you got to that situation, you guys could select between those two to get to
Oh.
5 if you want to do it that way.
Okay, so we have a tie at 2 each between Jim Baumker and Abby Sprague. So we go to new vote on those 2?
I think what we would easiest thing is just to poll the council on
Okay.
their vote for one or the other.
Okay, all right, so this is the tiebreaker to get us to 5, so I'll go around again. This time you're voting between Jim Baumker and Abby Sprague to move forward. Councilmember Ball.
Jim.
Okay, where we go? Mayor Pro Tem.
Abby.
Okay, hold on. All right, Councilmember Dunn,
Jim,
Councilmember Spencer,
Abby.
Councilmember Kurtz,
Jim.
and Councilmember Kennedy.
Jim.
Okay, so our top 5 then are coming in at, again, not in no particular order, Mike, Jim, Lynn, Hugh, and Judy. Okay, so we've got those. So we wipe the slate clean. And we are, everybody's, yeah. Yeah, Mike, Jim, Lynn, Hugh, Judy. Sorry, that's the order I had them in my list. Okay, so now we are taking everybody's top 2 to get us to the next. So does everybody know who's left? So you can form, you want me to give you a minute to kind of go through and make your decision?
Just run through them again, please.
Okay, Mike Willis, Jim Baumker, Lynn Adkins, Hugh Severs, and Judy Schumacher. I'll give you guys a minute. I'll wait till the pencil's down so we know everybody's ready. I can still have some people contemplating. Okay, is everybody ready? Linda, you need a minute?
Okay.
Okay. All right, we're gonna go, I'll go in reverse order this time, take the pressure off, by council position. So we will start out with Councilmember Kennedy, your top two in alphabetical order, please.
Hugh and James.
Okay, Councilmember Kurtz.
Judy and Mike.
Okay, Councilmember Spencer.
Hugh and Jim.
Okay, Councilmember Dunn.
Judy and Hugh.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem, Mayor Pro Tem, that's who you are.
Hugh and Lynn.
Okay, and Councilmember Ball.
Mike and Judy.
Okay, so
I'm
that,
sorry, I didn't hear. Who did you
Mike
say?
and Judy.
Mike and Judy.
Thank you.
So that leaves, so I'll read the totals just so everybody's clear. Hugh with 4, Judy with 3, and then the other 3 follow, 2 for Mike, 2 for Jim, and 1 for Lynn. So that brings us to our final 2. So we will whittle down in my handy dandy basket those 2 names, and we will have the council vote in that order.
First.
Yeah,
This was the main. Okay.
yeah, so we need, yeah, do we? Yeah, so it doesn't matter, we'll take the nominations, it doesn't matter what order they're made in, so I'll open the floor to nominations out of those 2 first. Councilmember Spencer,
I'd like to nominate Hugh Severs.
we have a second?
Second.
Okay, and then the next nomination, Councilmember Dunn,
I nominate Judy Schumacher.
do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. All right, we have motion and nominations and seconds for our final 2. So let me, would you like to do the honors again? We'll shake up these two really good. All right, who's first? Okay, we will take votes first for Judy Schumacher, and then if she gets 4, we are finished. If not, if she gets 3, we know it's tied, and then I break a tie. So all those in favor, we got the nominations. Yeah, we got both nominated. Okay. All right, so make sure I have a clean slate here, so I don't mix up my notes. All right, so those in favor of appointing Judy Schumacher to City Council position 7, please raise your hand, say aye, and keep them up.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, so I will go ahead and take the votes then for, we don't do opposed votes. Those in favor of appointing Hugh Severs to the City Council position 7, please say aye.
Aye.
Okay, seems we have an old new council member. We are going to have the oath administered still tonight. David will get photos, but really, we, again, really appreciate everybody. I can't reiterate enough times how much I am impressed with everybody who's been here tonight. So we will have community engagement positions open because 2 of our council members, new council members are on community engagement. We're getting ready to interview for civil service, and I believe we have planning commission. Maybe I'll verify that. So keep your eyes open for opportunities. Appreciate it. So Rochelle, are you going to do the oath of office? Okay.
I, Hugh Severs. Do solemnly swear. That I am a citizen of the United States. That I'm a citizen of the United States. The state of Washington. The state of Washington. The city of Liberty Lake. The city of Liberty Lake. That I will support the Constitution. That I will support the Constitution. And the laws of the United States. And the laws of the United States. Constitution and the laws of the
State of Washington.
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Washington
And the laws of the city of Liberty Lake.
and the laws of the city of Liberty Lake.
And to the best of my judgment, skill, and ability.
To the best of my judgment, skill, and ability.
Will truly, faithfully,
Will truly, faithfully,
diligently, and impartially perform the duties.
diligently.
Break that one up a little.
And partially perform the duties
Of the office of a council member
of the office of the council member
for the city of Liberty Lake,
for the city of Liberty Lake,
Washington,
Washington,
as such duties are prescribed by law.
as such duties are prescribed by law.
Now you get to shake everybody's hand before you say. You still need to sit down because we have to finish the meeting. Okay, this won't take long. We do have council, sit, no, right there.
You're on the council now.
Yeah.
Take a seat, man.
We'll get you a name tag.
All right, so next we have council comments. If there's anything the council would like to comment on further for this meeting. Councilmember Kennedy?
I would, in last week's meeting, I had several citizens come forward and say to me that they did not see in the survey where the pool was number one. So I brought that up and asked if we could look into that, and appreciate Mark getting that information to me. It was in another survey that was there. So I appreciate coming forward. And I've since passed that on to the citizens that asked that question.
Right, thank you. Anybody else have any further council comments? Not hearing any. Next up, we have no public hearings or appeals. We have no resolutions. We have no emergency ordinances. Introduction of upcoming agenda items. I don't think anything has changed since we met last week. We have the governance manual coming up next week during our regular meeting, and some TBDs for some other things. And in January, our Spokane River Keeper update and the pavement master plan. So if there's anything that's jumped into someone's mind since last week that we need to add, speak now or hold your peace till next week. All right. Citizen comments. Do we have any citizen comments tonight before we adjourn? Anybody online? No? Okay. No executive session. And with that, we conclude our business tonight and we are adjourned at 9:10. Welcome, Councilmember Severs.
Thank
Do you still have your old thing